March 2020. Nothing was ever the same.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades.
The World Health Organization says the risk of the virus expanding worldwide is now classified.
And a number of colleges and universities are suspending their study abroad programs.
The novel coronavirus continues to spread worldwide from its starting point in Wuhan, China. There's now increased scrutiny on the public health response and the handling of those
9 million
infected.
confirmed coronavirus cases. The number of Americans dead in the pandemic has now surpassed 229.
Hospitalizations are going up. Individuals in the ICUs are going up, and sadly, we are.
The number of deaths is expected to increase further this week.
Cities across India in 75 different districts are now in complete lockdown as India fights to contain the spread of coronavirus.
Life as we knew it changed forever. Lockdowns across the world. Sleepless cities finally slept. And a lot of people reunited and spent quality time with their families. But amongst this crowd, a few were left stranded in places they never called home. My name is Philip, but you can call me Philly Wonka, and I am a film student studying cinematography in Whistling Woods, Mumbai. So when this all came in like a storm, I was stuck there, faring against all odds, 1,000 miles away from home. Thankfully, my best friend Abhiru offered to let me stay at his place for the time being instead of me being alone at the apartment that I used to stay at. We spent a little more than 2 months together.
Char came before charging because every house will have a diya. And everything will be off, all the lights.
Now, why am I telling you this? And what does this have to do with anything regarding a story of a journey that changed my life? Well, the actual story of the journey itself wouldn't make much sense without knowing the set of events that led to it. During all my stay at Abhir's place, I was looking for a way back home. Flights had been cancelled, and so were the trains. And there was no question of an on-road travel until and unless you had the proper permissions to do so. I tried reaching out to local authorities and help centers, but none of them knew what to do or how to get me back home safe. My dad actually told me this funny story about how these migrant workers, out of desperation, tried to sneak into essential goods services trucks and sneak back into their hometown. But obviously, that was not an option that I was comfortable taking. And at this point, I was desperate. Days just went by. And after 2 months, I finally received good news. My parents secured me a cab to Kerala from Mumbai with the help of a police officer friend of his. Now, to put things into perspective, on road from Mumbai to Kerala is a little more than 1,550 kilometers. That was no cakewalk. And so, I started preparing for that special day. Soon enough, I got to know all the details of my travel. And that was a little bit of a problem. Because all this while I thought I would be traveling alone. But that proved to be false because I would be accompanying a pregnant lady and two of her attendees along with our cab driver. And so all of my coordination was with this dude named Justin, who I believe is this lady's husband. Yeah, I know. I would be traveling over 1,000 miles in the middle of a pandemic in a cab over the span of 3 days with people I've never met before. Fun. Full disclosure. In the midst of all of this chaos, I was not in the right mental headspace to record everything as it happened. However, I did record certain parts of the journey, whatever I could in the span of those 3 days. Now, 3 days in a cab meant that I had no access to a power outlet, and so I could not charge any of my devices, including my camera. But this also meant that all the hotels and restaurants would be closed, which meant that I had to starve myself for 3 days, with the exception of a few sneaker bars and a few energy drinks here and there. And this is how it went. Managed to get inside the car. I don't know exactly how everything is going to pan out, but I hope everything will go according to plan. That being said, the real journey starts tomorrow. We are currently filling up petrol for the actual journey itself. Frankly speaking, I am very nervous and very excited at the same times. Our route is from Mumbai to Kerala. It's roughly 1,550 kilometers because we can't go through the Tamil Nadu border because the number of cases is bad over there and it's best to avoid it. So I don't know, most likely everything will be okay. So at this point, I get in the car and me and the driver leave to pick up the ladies at their designated location, which was Navi Mumbai. And from there, we started making our way towards Kerala together. We carry on for about 3-4 hours until we decide to stop for the night at around 3 a.m. At a petrol pump between Mumbai and Pune. I don't know how well and how clearly you can see me, but right now it is 12:30 a.m. I am at one of the stops between Mumbai and Pune, so we just pulled over here to stretch. I gotta say, the entire atmosphere, it looks creepy. I've never seen this petrol pump this empty before. It's just absolutely no one. It's crazy. So far we have covered 30 kilometers, 1,470 more to go. I don't know how well this is going to fare out, to be honest. It's like absolutely zero place to sit. Like God. But within 30 minutes of us being there, we quickly got kicked out by the employees working there. saying that we cannot stay overnight in a parked car. And so we immediately pick up pace and drive for another 2 or 3 hours until we reach Mahigaon in Satora.
So it is 6:30 a.m. right now. Last night we didn't have sleep at all because we stopped at a petrol pump to sleep inside the car, but then the police came and then they said that we can't really be around there, so we just ended up driving all night. Now we are in scenic, I don't know what this place is called, but it's very scenic. This is absolutely breathtaking.
At around 2 in the afternoon, we stop again at Hubli so that we can stretch our legs for a little bit. Over there, we encountered a few monkeys, and that was honestly a very refreshing sight considering that for the past near 24 hours, all we've been seeing was highway, road, highway, road, highway, road, and it was honestly driving us nuts. Shortly after, we leave Hubli, and we again stop at 6 in the evening at Trasi Beach. It was honestly quite refreshing just seeing the ocean and soaking up the ocean breeze.
The view can't get any prettier than that, can it? It's been a very long car ride. I think we covered nearly 700 kilometers in one stretch. And considering yesterday's set of events, I completely passed out in the car, except for a few moments when I got up and I recorded some stuff out the window. So I didn't get much chance to talk. Most likely I will be home by tomorrow evening, which is Monday. It would be unfair to say that, I'm excited because I am beyond relieved to be given the opportunity to even go back home. Also, my camera has close to zero charge, so I don't know if I would be able to document most of the events that is gonna happen from now, unless I can somehow get it charged. So yeah, I am doing all okay. I feel pretty shitty because the car was very hot. I haven't taken a bath in 3 days. So aside from the lack of feeling of being fresh, I would say that I feel pretty good about now. Yeah, it can't get prettier than this.
The next stop was the Kerala state border, and it took a while there because they had to verify our documents and confirm the validity of our e-pass, which I don't know why it takes that long, but It took us quite a while there, and immediately after that was done, we stopped by a temple there just to stretch our legs again, and we slept. But it was finally good news because I was in Kerala. But that did not mean that I was close to home, which was still 400 kilometers away from me.
Finally, I changed the t-shirt. We crossed Kerala border yesterday night, and then we slept over at a petrol pump again. This time no one told us anything. It is currently 2 p.m. We are nearly at Kochi, where I want to be at this moment right now. It's showing 3.5 hours by road, but it could take me a little bit more to get home because of certain issues. But once I'm home, oh my god, this huge weight that has been I've been dragging on top of my chest, I'll feel like that has been lifted. It's been one hell of a journey, and I don't know what to say. It's just, yeah, what an experience.
So the plan was quite simple. The driver that escorted us from Mumbai to Kerala would still be escorting me further up ahead till the backwaters of Kerala. And from there, a friend of the policeman that first got me this cab would pick me up and then drop me home. By this time, I had completely given up hope on recording anything new because of the fact that I was completely disoriented because I hadn't eaten anything for nearly 3 days. Also, not to mention the fact that my camera was nearly dead by that point. But finally, I got picked up by the police officer around evening time, and I cannot exaggerate this. The feeling of relief when you're finally so close to reaching home. It felt like this huge pressure on my shoulders just got alleviated. And that was one of the best feelings. That was honestly worth all of the torture that I went through. It's been a year since this journey, and looking back on it now, I can honestly say that it has taught me so much. First, we weren't allowed to use any of the washrooms, even in the petrol pumps, which forced me to have only chocolates and energy drinks during this time period, which made me appreciate food so much more than I ever have before. Secondly, not having a proper bed to sleep in, and that discomfort of actually sleeping in a car for 3 nights made me appreciate even the shittiest of beds so much more than I had in the past. Third reason, and I think this is the most hard-hitting reason, I got to know this at a much later stage after the travel. And the fact was that the ladies that were accompanying me, they all lost their jobs because of the pandemic. And that is why they had all of their luggage stuffed in that car, whatever they could fit. I did not want to know their side of the story. I was selfish and naive. I just wanted everything to go according to my way. I just wanted my comfort. That was my priority. I did not need to know what that other person was going through. And honestly, to this day, I still feel bad about the way that I thought of them. And this leads me to my fourth point. Privilege. I was privileged to travel nearly 1,000 miles in a cab when not even local transportation was allowed. Why? Because I had the resources to do so. Many people didn't. If you think about it, the funny story that my dad told me, it's not really funny if you are the ones experiencing it, living in this extremely scared mindset of like what might happen next. What if you get caught? After going through this, I realized the value of my privilege, and that changed my life forever. To this day, I live by the principles and morals that that journey has taught me. It changed me to be the person that I am today. Now, I hope that this video gave you a little bit of an insight, or even told you a story that you probably might have never heard before. You always read in history textbooks of how people used to travel during a pandemic, but actually experiencing it firsthand is something entirely different. That's all for me now. My name is Philly Wonka. Thank you so much for watching this video. For now, this is it. I'll see you next video. Peace.